Welcome to day 3 of the Grassroots Trust New Zealand Cycle Classic. Today is the longest stage of the tour, over 150 kilometres of tough rolling terrain. No big mountains, but plenty to test the riders. Over the 32 years of the Grassroots Trust New Zealand Cycle Classic, this race has played a key part in the development of so many young riders' careers. This year will be no different, and we'll catch up with some of the team managers, some of the riders, on the importance of this event.
We're all about giving guys the best opportunity, and this is the best race that New Zealand's probably ever seen with this field. So having young guys an opportunity to get in there. We've also got a couple of guest riders coming in to mentor the young guys as well, to help them out on the road, because it is a big step. And a couple of returning riders with Joel Yates and Alex West as well, which are definitely up for the fight, so it's good.
Sam, the New Zealand Cycle Classic is a UCI 2.2 tour. How important are these 2.2 tours to the development of young riders?
Oh, it's very, very important, especially in the Oceania region, to have a 2.2. Currently, the only other tour is the 2.1 over in Australia, the Herald Sun Tour. So this is a really good stepping stone between the National Road Series back in Australia and also the, the local domestic national racing here in New Zealand. So this is, like I said, a good stepping stone for riders, especially young Kiwi riders and also Australian riders that we bring over.
Yeah, it's huge. So I guess in New Zealand there's not a whole lot of UCI races, or two, us and Gravantara. Especially if you look at the field here. It's pretty rare to get an opportunity like this, so just to be here and part of it in itself is a great opportunity.
Yeah, there's been some great winners this tour, so it's definitely a good breeding ground for champions. So it's a privilege for me, from the team, to be able to do this race and grow my career.
I also enjoy the variety of racing down here, and just how hard it is. These Kiwis know how to race hard and fast. It's really good to bring a young team here, and it really shows them the ropes. It's a good introduction to UCI racing for sure. And it's a good way to kick off the season. It's a nice, hard 5-day long race. So it's good to get 5 days of hard racing in the legs so early in January.
Stage 3 leaves the Te Awamutu Rose Gardens. We head out around the Waikato. Te Awamutu, of course, the home of the largest cycling club in the country, and of course the Waipa District Council is based in Te Awamutu. 152 kilometres on today's stage. Another tough day for the riders in the saddle. Long, relentless, quite tough climbs as they'll wind their way around the district, taking in some beautiful scenery before returning after that 152 kilometres to finish back in Te Awamutu. There you have it, 152 kilometres. George Sandoval leads the race out as always in the Winger Suzuki. It's all the team cars, a cross-country rental Suzukis. Winger Suzuki supply all the official race vehicles. As the race gets underway, a little move straight away. Riders get out of the saddle, stretch the legs. They know what lies ahead, so some a little bit more eager than others. The wind today, even though it's blowing a little bit, won't be a key factor like it was on the opening day of the tour. The longest stage of the race, some say could possibly the hardest stage. So we'll see as the racing gets underway. Can someone establish a break? Will a break go away today? Will it be break that stays away, or will the peloton control it? Remember, it's very tight at the top of the general classification. Aaron Gate leads by 5 seconds from Matthew Zenovich. Stefan Bessinger is in the points classification jersey, the BNZ Sprint jersey. The Three Peaks Manuka Honey King of the Mountains jersey, that's on Cyril Turi. And Blake Quick is in the Foster's under 23 white jersey. Some of the riders will be keen to protect those, try and take the classification jerseys as we see a break finally get established off the front of the peloton. New Zealand national team, the Swiss national team represented with Regan Goff, Terry Scheer, Oliver Martin from Drapac, Zach Gilmore, Pro Racing Sunshine Coast, Morgan Smith, Ruland, and Logan Griffin, GT Pringle Builders. Now he'll know the roads better than anybody. GT Pringle Building, Spoken Cycles, A local team made up of local riders. We see Alexini in the middle of the bunch having a bit of a chat. Happier teammates up the road. Takes the pressure off. Often the tactics, you can see this group rolling together. Their teammates can sit back a little bit. Zach Gilmore, Morgan Smith. Morgan lives in Australia now, used to ride out of West Auckland, the Avanti store there with Jeff and Kath Webb. They helped him along in his cycling career in his early days. Regan Goff got the deep wheels on today, fresh off the UCI World Cup at the Avanti Drome, as was his Swiss companion in that break, Terry Scher, also a member of the Swiss team's pursuit team. Logan Griffin, good to see him back after a fall. I was talking to him this morning, said he's on a new bike today. Handlebars went through the top tube in his crash. Cyrus Monk, the little fella from Evo Pro Racing. He does all the work. He sets the tempo, controls the pace of the peloton. Michael Vink sits in behind him, a former winner of this race. Very good time trialist, very good hill climber. Back up to the leaders. Still working well. Morgan Smith, Regan Goff. Going through. Logan Griffin, head down low. Another fast, windy descent, so it's up and down all day. Talking to Logan briefly, he said this is a very tough day getting up to through this early part of the course. It'll be a lot harder than people think. He knows it well. There's plenty of training on these roads. As does Regan Goff. See Regan low down. There's a couple of the riders sitting on the top tubes of the bikes. If you're not skilled, don't try that. Across the little one-lane bridge. No time to stop and view the Kiwis. This brake's working hard. They're in the big chainring at the front, the little sprocket at the back, so they're in the high gears. There's a little bit of a slight cross tailwind there, so the pace is certainly on. The hands going up in the bunch, indicating they'll be turning. Or a narrow bridge. There we go. And the gap, 1 minute 26. So the brake has been allowed to get out to a minute and a half. Often a team will be quite happy with that. The team of the tour leader, Aaron Gate, we saw them yesterday. Never let the brake go to more than a minute and a half. And there's Gate towards the back of the peloton. He's got one teammate on the front controlling things. He can sit back and have a bit of a rest. Motorcycle marshals, the TV motorbike sitting on the back, the TV cameraman, sitting on the back. Some would say the best seat in the house, but I wouldn't like to be sitting sideways or facing backwards. At the speed these guys go down the hills, the motorbikes certainly can't keep away from the cyclists. Drapac send a rider up the outside of the peloton. Won't be too concerned. They've got a rider in that break, Oliver Martin. So the Drapac team always bring down their development riders. And we'll see many of them transfer into the pro scene in Europe. Brake's still working well. There's Oliver Martin going through. Logan Griffin, Regan Goff. So they'll be fairly comfortable with a minute and a half. They haven't been allowed to get too far away, but they've got a good chance at the moment. It's such a long stage, 152 kilometres. The BNZ Sprint, the Three Peaks, Manuka Honey, King of the Mountains can change the pattern of the race quite quickly if different teams have different interests in the race. Morgan Smith, Zach Gilmore. All rotating through, doing the turn, helping each other out. They're all from different teams, but they're teammates in the breakaway. You can see on Logan's bike, down in the small sprockets at the back, travelling at speeds in the high 50 kilometre an hour area at this section of the course. Time for something to eat. Left turn past the cornfields. Have a sneaky look over their shoulder just to see where's the peloton. The ride is so important that they eat and drink throughout. Logan having a little bit of a chat. They talk to each other. The peloton under the control, Evo Pro, as they've done for the first 2 days, just controlling the tempo. New professional team in Europe. New Zealanders in that. And in this tour, Aaron Gate leading the race. Shane Archbold very close second yesterday. Morgan Smith just going back to the car to get something to eat. Fills the pockets. Cruises back up to the break. So in the race, you're allowed to start feeding from the team car, generally around 20 to 30 kilometres into the stage, and feeding stops, depending on the conditions, generally around 20 kilometres to go. And if you get dropped on the stage, you have to finish within a percentage of the winner's time. So 15% on today's stage. So if you're out the back, you've only got a certain amount of time to get to the finish line to be allowed to start the next day. Here we go. The first hill climb of the day, Oliver Martin, he decides, well, I'll take that for Drapac, thanks very much. Jan Carroll, our very experienced commissaires, is the judge for the Manuka Three Peaks King of the Mountains. The peloton strung out on the climb, so peloton moving along fairly quick as the camera bike makes its way past them. Not hanging around. Blake Sunday with the jersey undone, the all-white jersey. Alex Heaney sitting there. Judy Pringle, Spoken Cycles, also supported by Hunting and Fishing over there in Rotorua. It's great to have the opportunity for our local riders to compete in a UCI 2.2 tour. This tour part of the Oceania circuit. As we heard at the top of the program, a breeding ground for young talent to launch their careers. So the front group was picked up and another group tries its luck off the front. Another one of the Swiss, Stefan Bessinger in the BNZ Sprint Ace jersey. Morgan Smith's tagged on, so he's not going to give up today, trying to be very aggressive on the stage. And the Skoda Fuso rider in there. That's Reese Tucknott. Morgan Smith just drops off the back of the two riders, as does the Drapac rider, Oliver Martin. So the pace up this climb just a bit too much. So it leaves two out front. Have a look over the shoulder. They'll be there, they won't be too far back. We haven't got a time check at the moment, but we'll only be probably around the 30 to 40 second mark if they can see them like that. Tucknott, a guest rider for the Skoda Fuso team. We heard their team manager, Scott Fairburn, saying how important the race is to them. Very important to the Swiss national team who are down here. They were here for the World Cup, staying for the Grassroots Trust New Zealand Cycle Classic. We had a big field start. We've lost a couple along the way, but still 170 riders on the start line today. Many of them already thinking about tomorrow, but these two are thinking about, can we stay away for the stage? Cyrus Monk, as he's done through so much of the tour, on the front for Evo Pro. Then we have the St. George Continental team. Bridge Lane, New Zealand national team. 2 minutes 34 to the front of the race. So when the peloton decides to chase, they can pull that back. At the moment, they're quite content to let the gap stay at around the 2.5 minutes, give or take. Stefan Bessinger sits up, has a look around. Goes, that's it. Oh no, he's got a puncher. He has a puncher, so the neutral service vehicle, getting the wheel out, getting it set up. It's usually a fairly quick change for these riders. But of course, it's not your own team car, so the wheels aren't always set exactly for your bike. So Stefan takes over himself. Says to the young mechanic in service 2, I'll just show you how it's done. Thanks very much. He won't panic. True professional. Just get the bike set up, get the wheel in, make sure it's in the right gear. Away he goes. So out front we'll have Rhys Tucknott on his own. He'll just be riding a good steady tempo. You can't just sit up and wait. The legs might lock up, but he doesn't want to go full gas. So he just keeps a steady tempo, and Stefan rides back across to him. And we're back, two at the front. So they would have lost a little bit of time. They had 2.5 minutes. They've probably lost around 30 to 45 seconds. Maybe a little bit more in that change. So maybe a minute and a half's lead now. The peloton, they'll be starting to think about, they'll get that time check from the motorbike. They'll be starting to think about chasing them down. But in that long shot, we still don't see the peloton. So the two riders out front working well together. They'll be hoping for a little bit of tailwind. There's the peloton, 2 minutes 54. So they've let them go a little bit. Still plenty of racing to come in the stage. Drapac decide to lend a hand. They'll be thinking about the stage finish. They had a good crack at it yesterday. So they start to lend some weight to the front. Stefan takes the BNZ sprint points. They just sharing the workload, so they're not too worried about the points, but always handy to collect them when you're the BNZ Sprint Ace leader. Tapping out a nice tempo. He's in great form coming off a Track World Cup. Rhys will be fairly grateful for the big long turns, a good chance to sit in behind, save some energy, recover. But they are working well together. They'll be getting the time checks from the motorbikes as well, about trying to time their effort. They got a little bit of a tailwind. They're in the big cog. Big high gears on the bike. This time, Bessinger sits up, decides they'll have a gel. He's done with being out front for the day. Getting some energy into him. So, Rhys Tucknott is the lone leader on this 152 kilometre stage. So Rhys Tucknott from Skoda Friesor has a look over his shoulder. There's the peloton, 15 kilometres to go. It's been a long day for the young Australian riding for the New Zealand Skoda Friesor team. He's tried hard, he's still trying, but here comes the peloton. They're hunting him down. The sprinters licking their lips for another sprint finish. Cyrus Monk, third wheel's done a power work all day. He'll be looking for his teammate Aaron Gate, the tour leader in the yellow jersey. Don't spot the tour leader at the moment, under the control of the Sunshine Coast. Drapac, now they take over. 6 riders on the front. Aaron Gate moves up. There's the yellow jersey, the tour leader. He's got great form. Winner of the Madison at the UCI World Cup with Campbell Stewart just a few days ago. Heading in towards Te Awamutu. Drapac, they've got organised. They'll be thinking of Jensen Plowright, their sprinter. They line up. Drapac still in control on the right-hand side. A couple of riders on the left. Aaron Gate starting to sneak up as well. Both fighting the inside round the corner. Plowright gets there from Gate. It was tight. Come charging around the corner. We look at it again. Plowright had the inside line. Gate has to move a little bit wider with that speed into the corner. Plowright gets there by about a wheel. Congratulations all round. Tight sprint. Two boys that have got plenty of experience on the track. Simon Perry congratulating the winner. Wow, that was an exciting sprint finish. Nice fast downhill and a bit of a kick up to the line. But you look pretty comfortable.
Yeah, the team rode really well for me today. They got in the break and held good position coming to the finish from like 10k out, so it was an awesome job. Made it real easy.
Rhys, well done on taking that most aggressive rider's jersey today. A tough day out there. You and Stefan got picked up 15k to go, but good rewards.
Yeah, I sort of went at quite an opportune moment with Stefan and it blew out to 3.5 minutes and I was quite sort of a bit hopeful with 50k's to go, but it was quite windy out there and yeah, I'm pretty happy to get the most aggressive award for a little bit of reward for the effort that we put in.
It looked relentless. Like there was no easy bits on that course today.
No, I thought we might end up getting the wind to swing around a little bit at one point, but it just never happened. It seemed whatever direction we turned in, the wind was in our face. So that made it a bit tough, but happy to be out here and racing, and thanks to Skoda Fruscio for the opportunity.
Yeah, it was another solid day at the office. The roads aren't very forgiving around here, and definitely not forgiving for Cyrus Monk, who I think had probably another half of the stage on the front by himself again, keeping the breakaways in check for us. So it was another great day of teamwork by Evo Pro out there to keep me in this jersey. So 2 to go. Tomorrow's going to be a very difficult one to hold on to it, but yeah, we'll give it all we've got and see how it goes.
I was going to ask you about Cyrus, because every time I went back to the front of the peloton, so we're at the front of the bike race, every now and then we go back and you listen to the reports on the radio, he is on the front. So how important is a teammate like that?
Extremely. He just keeps that time check in bay so the guys up the road don't get too far away, and he did an amazing job of that, and actually was bringing the group of 5 back by himself at one point. So yeah, he's got phenomenal legs at the moment, so I hate to see what form he's going to be in after this solid week of training he's doing.
There we go, confirming the stage results. Jensen Plowright from Drapac Cannondale, from Aaron Gate, Cameron Ivory, Stephen Bessinger, Jay Vine, Hayden McCormick, the defending champion. Aaron Gate still leads the overall junior classification, 11 seconds back to Matthew Zenovich. Stephen Bessinger at 1:04. Jensen Plowright moves up after the win today, and Hayden McCormick rounds out the top 10. The Three Peaks Manuka Honey, New Zealand's cycling's Ride Festival. Plenty on over the week. If you want to find out what's happening Saturday and Sunday, go to www.ridewaikato.co.nz.